Today, we are going a little spooky, a little mysterious, and we are talking the Bermuda Triangle.
Ooh.
Okay, so...
I'm interested. Bermuda Triangle I've always found interesting, but I don't know a ton about it.
Yeah, so I didn't know a ton about it either. I just knew, ooh, there's something going on there. Don't go there, basically.
Right.
So I was laying in bed one night, and I told my girlfriend, I said, I want to do something that's mysterious. And she goes, well, I've always been interested in the Bermuda Triangle. And I was like, say less.
There we go.
So this one is for her because I know she's going to be excited. I hope I do it justice.
You will.
So, yeah, let's get into this because, by the way, like, there's so much information. There's podcasts and documentaries and books and just so much information on the Bermuda Triangle. There's no way I would be able to tell all of it.
What's kind of crazy too is I feel like it's been around since before we were even born that people talked about it, to the point now where I don't even know if newer listeners are going to know what it is at a certain age, because it's been talked about quite a bit, to the point where I wonder if it's still talked about as much as it was when we were younger.
Right. Well, it is a very old case, and it's something that gained a lot of traction back in the day. Then it got less over the years, and we'll talk about that actually as we go. So,
all right.
Let's dive in. So the Bermuda Triangle is a piece of the Atlantic Ocean that is between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Hence, triangle.
Yes.
This part of the water and the sky above has created some weird occurrences and disappearances. The first known documented and discussed is back when Christopher Columbus made his first grand voyage to discover the New World.
That place that was totally uninhabited and...
Right. That he should have just left alone. Sorry, did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Whoops. But I'm here, so I guess... Thanks.
I guess we could have been born in England.
Right.
Or Germany, or wherever we're, whatever our mixture would have put us at.
Right. So, now get this. He is on his voyage, right? And he reports in his journal, which has become super famous, but he reported that there's a flame of, like, a little piece of fire crashing into the sea, and then this strange light in the distance a few weeks later. Columbus described the light as a small wax candle that rose and lifted up, which for a few seconds seemed to be an indication of land. But he also noted that the sea rose without any wind whatsoever, which shocked them all because on the eve of discovering the New World, the light levitated onto the horizon and then rose up to the sky.
What exactly was he on? I mean, for real, like, what, it sounds like he was, he discovered something else when he discovered the New World.
Right, he was tripping away.
Yeah.
What's interesting to me is scientists were like, yeah, that's a meteor. And I'm like, wait, what?
I kind of thought meteor and volcano, too, were the two things I thought. And then I also thought if he was just, like, going crazy and it was the sun.
Yeah, or, I mean, another boat, but I mean, Christopher Columbus was the first, so I'm like...
First in quotation marks.
Right, I don't know. But that's what he said, in those words, I guess.
Right.
So, also, then this is what got me the most, is this is one of the few places in the entire Earth that is true north, or that the magnetic north lines up.
So that messes with compasses, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Okay.
So I tripped away on this. I was like, what does that mean? And I'll, like, talk about it later. But, like, I was like, why? How?
Yeah.
What?
I don't understand it either. I was never great with that stuff.
I know.
With
All of this is
and
very
things like
sciencey, and I am not the one.
Right, it's geology, geography. Geology is study of rocks, I'm pretty sure. That's how bad I am with it.
Geology, geography, I don't know.
Geometry, I don't know.
Geometry.
There's triangles. I don't know if it's isosceles or obtuse. I don't know.
Okay, anyway. Magnetic levels, compasses, and true north is a big discussion when it comes to the Bermuda Triangle, so keep that in mind. So let's get into these disappearances and these weird things, right? So in 1881, a ship making its way to New York City, basically people on board say that they encountered a ghost ship with nobody on board. So when they, so we don't have, the exact reports or anything, but as the story goes, some of the crew from the ship decided to go aboard the ghost ship to explore. But then a storm came and they got separated. But when they came back together, those passengers were gone. Just poof. Disappeared.
Maybe they found a ghost ship too? I don't know. That's weird.
Yep. So now let's fast forward to the 20th century when things become a little bit more documented, I guess. People started taking note in March 1918 when a very large cargo ship called the USS Cyclops sank. This was one of the greatest mysteries out there because the ship was 542 feet long and carried 300 men. However, no distress signal was ever sent, and even more creepy, the ship was never ever found again, and no wreckage.
Yeah.
It just disappeared.
Well, and also the timeline was interesting to me there because I think the Titanic was around then. I don't remember exactly what year the Titanic was, but I felt like it was around that time.
Yeah.
And so for two big ships to sink in fairly close time.
Right. Now, people are like, did the boat just get lost and sink somewhere between Barbados and the Chesapeake Bay? I mean, that's probable. But why and how and...
How have we not found it?
Right, how have we not found it?
Because it's not like, I mean, that's over 100 years. Our technology has gotten a lot better.
And we found some wreckage, but some of these have just poof.
Right.
So eerily similar in 1941, a sister ship of the Cyclops vanished in the same area. No wreckage, no nothing, disappeared.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I don't exactly know in boating what a sister ship is, but I'm not going where the other ship disappeared if I'm the sister ship.
Exactly. So after this, people started to take note. They were like, all right, what's going on?
Yeah, that's
right?
weird.
A pattern began to form. Many ships and planes started to go down in this area. Then, in December 1945, Flight 19 went down. This is one of the biggest mysteries and points of contention for people that believe there is something more eerie in this area. Now, when I heard Flight 19 went down, I thought this was one airplane, right?
Sounded like that to me.
Right. No. Flight 19 was 5 Navy bombers carrying 14 men that left Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They were out there to basically practice bombing runs. So they were to go to one area and then come back to Fort Lauderdale. There wasn't like anything they were doing. It was just...
So a flight can refer to multiple planes, apparently,
I guess.
that's going in the same pattern, I guess.
Yes. Right. They're all flying together.
Huh.
So
I learned something new.
Right. And I was like, okay, so one plane went down.
Right.
No, it was 5 bombers.
Right, which is weird because,
Right.
You know, I'm guessing, again, no distress signal or anything.
Nope. So,
You'd
somewhere...
think one of them would.
Right. Somewhere in this mission, their compass started malfunctioning, and the leader of Flight 19 got very lost, apparently. All 5 planes flew aimlessly until they ran low on fuel and were forced to ditch in the sea. We don't know that this is exactly what happened, because they just assume, because they were never recovered.
Man.
The Navy stuck to the story that the planes could have exploded shortly after takeoff and then crashed into the ocean. The same day...
That makes no sense to me, because, like, if they did that shortly after takeoff, it should be easy to find. They wouldn't have gone that far.
Yeah, and there would have been wreckage.
Right.
The same day, a rescue plane that was looking for them and its 13-man crew disappeared.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm saying nope to that mission. I'm like going where 5 planes just disappeared.
So since 1930, more than 325 planes and more than 1,200 ships have disappeared, crashed, or sank into the Bermuda Triangle. So they all either disappeared, crashed, or sank, right? Which is roughly the size of Alaska. So this area isn't that big.
Well, I don't know.
Alaska's big, but like you're thinking...
would be our biggest state, but yeah, it's not...
You're thinking a whole ocean.
Out of the ocean, yeah.
Right. Not a little part.
Right. And it seems like it would be a pretty traveled area because, I mean, I think there's a lot of, like, I don't know about the Bahamas, but I know there's a lot of Puerto Rico to Miami. You know, there's a lot of that. So, I mean, I feel like there should be a lot of things that travel across that stretch of ocean.
Right. So, though the exact number is not really known, at least 50 ships and 20 airplanes have fully just disappeared into the triangle. Often without a trace. So, like, just nothing.
Yep, never found to this point.
Deep sea divers have uncovered countless ships and wreckage in the ocean in this triangle, but some, those 50 and those 20, have just completely disappeared. We have no idea where they are. No wreckage, no nothing. So, I think people get so curious because this place is just so small.
Right.
I mean, mileage-wise to us, it's small, but, like, a lot happens here, so we're like... That doesn't compute in our brains.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm curious, and you might not have come across this in your research, but I'm curious how deep the ocean is there, because I know there's some really deep parts of the ocean that we haven't explored, so maybe it's just really deep there, and that's why we haven't found some of the wreckage, but to me, I'm like, we have all of this technology and all this underwater technology, like, you would think that we would... know everything. We would have found everything. Right.
In 1974, a man named Charles Berlitz wrote a book about the Bermuda Triangle, and he does not hold back on his wild theories, okay?
Aliens.
We're talking crazier than that. And it had everyone talking. This was when the Bermuda Triangle was, like, at its peak, right? So the biggest thing he notes in the book is that he believes that the area or the underwater city of Atlantis is in the Bermuda Triangle, and that there's ancient civilizations down there. He goes deep into those theories, and that also there is energy from these cities that are somehow mixed with crystals that were left behind there. And so that is sucking down everything that it touches. But he also talks about how aliens are coming to save humanity through wormholes and space-time continuums down in the Bermuda Triangle.
They're saving humanity by sinking planes and ships. and the crystals thing, I mean, like, this guy is now sounding like the father of the crystals we know today. That you have a crystal for... I don't understand how crystals work, but I know people believe in them, and if that's your thing, you do you. It's not... I don't understand it, but some people do.
Yep. So there's way more in this book as well, and it's a lot for my little podcast to try to figure out.
Go read the 1947 book.
Right. Go do your thing. Go off. I mean, he made a lot of money. He sold a lot of copies. I mean, millions worldwide have read this. It's been translated in other languages. People believe this stuff.
I mean, there is... I don't know about all those things he wrote about, but it's so crazy that many ships going missing that people are going to believe crazy things.
Yep. And I mean, it's a theory, right? It's theory like any other theory. However, there's no backing scientific evidence for it. So... Right. It's just a theory.
He might as well have written a fiction book about true events.
Right. And I mean, anybody could write a book and make a lot of money. So I say that as I write podcasts. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, books.
Wait, anybody? Me too?
So, I love to dive into the paranormal. And I love to believe that aliens exist in this underwater civilization under all of us, and that they're going to...
It's where Jason Momoa lives, right?
He's an alien.
Is he Aquaman or something? I don't know. I haven't watched that one.
Okay. So I want to believe in the mysterious, but there is no proof to a lot of the theories behind the Bermuda Triangle. I mean, there are crazy conspiracy theories of aliens and ghosts and massive water phenomenons. But what is the real truth? Because I'm sure it's not as interesting as we think.
Probably not.
Right. So let's go back to Columbus and the compasses, right? A lot of scientists believe that the Bermuda Triangle is a disturbance in geomagnetism.
It's May the 4th. I really thought you were going to say disturbance in the force. I'm nerdy. Leave me alone. May the 4th be with you.
Right. Right. So I'm trying to understand geomagnetism and magnetic fields and all of that. I'm like, I am not smart enough.
In my brain, I just picture the compass spinning. That's what you
always see. Basically, what you see. Yeah,
that's what you always see on TV when they do movies where people get lost like that. Is you just see the compass not knowing where to point, and then you no longer know where north is or whatever.
Right. And then it breaks, and the guy looks at each other and goes, I think we have a problem.
Which is exactly, that's exactly how it goes. And I mean, you'd think they would be like, okay, the sun comes up this direction or something. I don't know. You would think they're not fully reliant on compasses, but I don't know.
Right.
I've never sailed.
So I looked into this one because my thought was, why is there just disturbances here? Like, right. That's my thing.
They're just places that would have disturbances.
Right. I guess there's two places. There's one in the Bermuda Triangle, and then there's one in India somewhere.
So I actually was going to say, I'd heard something about there being a place by India where there's a lot of shipwrecks too. So that's interesting. It must be a similar situation.
Because the theory is that these planes and these ships are getting their compass and their navigation thrown off by these geomagnetism forces.
The force.
And then they're getting lost.
They're getting lost,
and they're
running
perishing.
out of fuel,
Yes.
and then they just crash.
Right. So the basic of what I read was that there's places with high iron in the water that can sway magnetic readings. I guess pilots in certain areas are warned of this. Like, there's certain areas where it's like, okay, your readings can be a little bit off, which I had no idea. But these are all over, like New Mexico, northern Minnesota, also Lake Superior, which there's something going on there too, but that's a whole nother
podcast. I don't even know what you're getting into, so that'll be new to me too.
That place is, whew. But there is so small of iron that scientists are like, that's not going to affect a plane or a boat anyway.
Right.
Like, it may throw you off a little bit, but it's not going to make you perish. It's not going to make you not know where you are. So all of this is like pretty much a moot point, right? Like, well, then how is the Bermuda Triangle doing it? It's technically not. The Navy has conducted tests on the Bermuda Triangle area to check if there is magnetic disturbances. Now, their excuse for this was that they're checking everywhere, not just Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, so of course our Navy would provoke the Bermuda Triangle and possibly aliens.
Right.
In the, 2020s where we've already had an epidemic, pandemic.
Right. And the findings are pretty clear. There's no magnetic disturbance in the Bermuda Triangle area, like whatsoever.
Weird.
So that logical reason for them getting lost apparently is not even a thing. And also, that's if you trust what your government is telling you, which some people do, some people don't. Just saying.
Right. It's yeah.
So
it's seeming to. Yeah, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Right. Like, I read this and I was like, okay, that's going to be the logical thing. It's just that the magnetism is off, which I don't know why. I tried to figure it out. I'm too stupid to learn
No.
some of this. So it's like, I would just chalk it up to that, right?
My theories were around, like, wind and things like that, because I know very little about this, but I apparently was awake for this day in history class, that like when ships used to sail back when they were like actual sailboats with sails on them and not propellers, that there were certain sections of ocean that you would get into, like the trade winds, that would actually move your ship because there was a wind pattern that consistently blew there. And so I wondered if maybe there was something weird going on with the wind in the area somehow, and then causing planes to crash, whatever. But I don't know. That seems like that would be something that, like, one of the first places they would check. Like, is it really windy here? Maybe that's a problem.
Hey,
I feel like Nate Bargatze tried to describe this.
Right. So, also scientists believed that maybe it's methane blowouts. Now, this was a whole nother thing.
So, cow farts. That's
yes,
that's what methane is.
Farts.
Yeah, sea cow farts.
So, blowouts of methane gas.
Sea cow blowouts.
Oh, I can't concentrate. They're basically these massive dome-like features that are on the seabed, and they blow out methane. They basically fart underwater.
Okay.
This phenomenon is true, and there's this explosion that sucks water in.
So, like, almost like whirlpool vortex kind of thing.
Yes. Which, that's a great theory. But what about the planes?
Right, unless it, like, pulls so hard that, like, pulls them in somehow.
Right, which is... Whew.
Yeah.
So then people are like, okay, hurricanes or weather disturbances, like, that's easily explainable, right? So this area has a lot of hurricanes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know that, like, Puerto Rico gets hit a lot, I feel like.
Yes, and they have, like, massive waves produced from them. Waves that can reach up to 100 feet.
Wow.
This could easily destroy ships, and there would be signs of wreckage. So,
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, what about the planes, though?
Right.
So
the only thing would be the hurricanes if that affected the planes, but the way that we, and I know back in the 40s we didn't do this, but the way we do now with hurricanes, we know when a hurricane is going to form, and we know like 2 weeks in advance where kind of ish where a hurricane's going to hit and when.
Right. Which is another interesting fact. Like, we've heard less about the Bermuda Triangle in the last decade or so.
You mean we got smart and just stayed away from it?
I think partly, yes. I think that we've had a lot going on.
Right. We're just not talking about it. Like, it's still happening, but
it's still happening, but like,
it's just not top on our list.
You know,
anymore.
we have a global pandemic going on, and you know, just a lot going on.
Just a lot of crazy it was Trump. It was a lot.
Right. It's just a lot for us. And I think it's either less frequent or less reported. But probably less frequent is honestly the truth. Yeah. I think maybe our technology has gotten better at
I wondered about that too, because I was sitting there thinking, now we have GPS, and GPS goes off of satellites now, so, I mean...
We've also traveled the same thing so many times.
Right.
that we know kind of how to get back to areas.
Yeah, it's almost like that, road that they're like, oh, everybody gets in a wreck on this road, but then when you live there, you're like, I know what the road does. Like, I'm not gonna get a wreck because I know that's how it works.
Right. We've also grown a little bit in population, so it's not like, I mean, planes go down and we're like, okay, that's a fraction so less of our population than it used to be.
Well, and for a while we had almost no plane crashes too.
Yeah.
Like we went through a big stretch of not having any plane crashes.
Right. So after all of my research and after figuring out and being interested, because I'm like, whoa, all of these things are happening, like there has to be something, my curious mind is like, yes, there has to be something going on, right? But I think the easiest and the most reliable and the most scientific explanation for all of this is it's an area that has accidents just like anybody else. Compared to a lot of other dangerous seas, like, this casualty list is unimpressive at best. Like, it's not really that much.
But like you said, it's the reason why people fixate on it is it's so many in such a small mileage-wise area. It's kind of like how they, I don't know what the actual term for this is, but just like the density of it happening.
Yeah. I mean, we lose planes and ships pretty much every day. Crashes are inevitable. It's strange, not gonna lie. I think it was more frequent back in the day just because, I mean, we don't know.
We barely started flying early,
Right. And we don't know what happened then, but I don't think it's happening like that now. I mean, I looked up Bermuda Triangle on YouTube, and it's like all of these YouTubers that are like, I survived the Bermuda Triangle. So they're like just out.
I feel like that's a show.
Famous YouTubers are just out in floaties, just chilling in the Bermuda Triangle.
No, I'm just picturing Jake Paul out there.
I think he was probably one of them.
Because I think he lives in Puerto Rico or Cuba or somewhere.
Mr. Beast was one of them.
Well, Mr. Beast has enough money to actually fly planes out there and lose them on purpose.
Right.
I lost the plane in the Bermuda Triangle on purpose.
He has cookies now. I saw Mr. Beast cookies in the store the other day.
I mean, I'm not gonna hate on Mr. Beast though, because he does a lot of good philanthropy things. So I'd buy Mr. Beast cookies, and probably try not to eat them because they're probably unhealthy.
Right. But after all of my research, I don't know what's going on in the Bermuda Triangle, just like no one else knows what's going on in the Bermuda Triangle.
So I got a couple questions for you.
Okay.
One, let's do what we think the most likely theory is at this point. What would you think is your most likely what's happening?
I think weather.
What, just storms and
I think
wind?
Storms. I mean, I'd love to believe that there are aliens there. I'd love to believe that. But I think it's probably weather disturbances and just people crashing.
So you believe there's aliens at Area 51 then?
Yes.
Okay, so it's the area that you're not as sure about, but aliens you're just making sure. Aliens, you're like, I'm pretty sure I know where they are and they're not there.
I am in constant contact, okay? If they were there, they've moved because everybody's talking about them.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, they're
not at Area 51 currently because we've talked about it.
Yeah, people were getting ready to storm the gates not that long ago.
Yes. They're in the White House.
Yeah, probably. Underground tunnels or something. I don't know.
Right.
They're, some space station. I don't know. For me, I do think it's kind of like you said, weather. I feel like wind makes a lot of sense because, that can cause the waves and that can, probably, I'm sure, blow ships off course, blow planes off course, make it hard to find them. I don't know. For me, it seems like it's probably something like the wind. I don't know. It could also just be something weird in terms of the water too. I don't know what causes waves like that.
Currents?
But yeah, like maybe something with how the ocean floor is or something just causes big waves, or doesn't really make sense on the plains. But so that was one question. The other question I had is, you kind of touched on it a little bit with the YouTubers. We are technically YouTubers. Would you ever explore the Bermuda Triangle? Would you ever go on an expedition to try to figure out what's happening?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah, I would. Take my life.
Would you?
Take my money.
What would be your preferred plane or boat?
You're not gonna know what it is by plane. You gotta get in that
You gotta
ocean,
really be in
baby.
it,
You
like
gotta be in there.
Your boat or a submarine? Do you want to be underwater?
Yeah, I want to be exploring it.
I am not touching the plane, I don't think, in the Bermuda Triangle. I don't know why. I just don't feel... I feel like that's the least safe of all the options for some reason.
The plane?
Yeah, I don't know why. It just seems...
There was a lot of planes that went down.
I mean, 5 going down in the same flight, that's weird. Like, what did they just all fly into each other? Like, they just all lost their mind? I don't...
There you go.
They're all possessed by aliens at the same time? I guess
Yep.
aliens don't possess. What?
It's those crystals.
It's the crystals, yeah. It's the lost city of Atlantis.
Yep.
That we still haven't found.
I mean, it is fascinating. All of this stuff. Like,
No, it really is.
everything that I, like, brought up. Christopher Columbus to, those fighter jets, those bombers going
Christopher
down.
Columbus was on something, though. That sounded like he was... Sounded like he had a little peyote with the indigenous people that he found in the New World.
Right. Who knows? But it's fascinating, and people are going to still be talking about it and wondering what's going on.
And I hope someday that's when we can get an answer to, because, like you said, technology has come a long way. So, and we have the Navy exploring it, things like that. I even saw a post the other day. I don't know if this was a Bermuda Triangle ship or not, but I saw they were like, we found the wreckage of a ship that's been lost for decades. And then it was like underneath it had the little Twitter like thing that was like, this actually isn't true. This is a picture from a ship that was actually placed there by man for divers to not in the Bermuda Triangle, but in like the ocean for divers to just explore, like as part of their diving expedition, like just for tourists.
Oh, wow.
So like, it wasn't even a ship that would have been lost in the Bermuda Triangle. It was just some random ship that they literally put there on purpose, and the internet started believing for just a little bit that they found one of the Bermuda Triangle ships.
Fake news.
Yeah, like that stuff's getting passed around so much that everybody's starting to be like, did you see that? And then it's like this word of mouth where it's like, oh yeah, they found a ship. And then like scientists are sitting there going, it's literally just, we put it there. Come on.
Come on, guys. Scientists nowadays are like,
they just facepalm every day.
Man.
They facepalm every day. They're like, no, that's not how it works. 5G does not... Never mind.
Well, I would like to know what everyone else thinks. I want to know what you guys think is going on in the Bermuda Triangle.
And I want to know what you guys think of this episode, because it was kind of fun doing an episode where yes, people died in this episode, but it was so long ago that we can actually be a little more lighthearted about it. So we had a little more fun with it. Curious if you guys kind of like things like that too, where we can be a little more light.
Yep. I needed a break.
We covered some heavy stuff, and she was deep in the research on all of it.
I might start doing some of these because I really like that stuff. It's very interesting to me. So here's a little fun fact for those of you who haven't been with us this whole time. This wasn't the original name of the channel, Code 187. It was Dark Enigmas.
Dark Enigmas, because she liked a lot of cases like this and a lot of things like this that were spooky, haunting, things like that. And when you started that channel, that was back when you're like in the 100 subscribers, like over a year ago, probably. So
almost 2, probably.
That's where this channel originally came from, is stuff like this. So if you like it, I know she would love to cover more of them.
My second video was aliens. And the new coverage of the aliens.
And most of our arguments are over ghosts and aliens.
Right.
Like, we'll watch, we used to watch, what was that called? The Osbournes. The Osbournes Want to Believe or something like that.
Yeah, I love that show.
And it's literally what it sounds like. Jack Osbourne's trying to convince Ozzy and Sharon, that ghosts are real, things like that. And we would sit there and watch it, and she would be like, that one looks real to me. And I would be like, you literally do that with like a string, probably, is my guess. Like, I'd be sitting there trying to figure out, but then there'd be some that I just couldn't explain. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, well, I don't, my logical brain can't figure out how that could have happened without it being paranormal.
We should do a debate. Like, we should literally, like, write, you're on one side, I'm on the other, of like either ghosts don't exist or aliens don't exist, and we should just bring
it's like taste buds, but like paranormal. So we're just like ghost buds or something.
Right. We should. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm sure we could.
It's interesting though, because on this one I was like,
we're gonna have to.
There's nothing going on, and you're like, I don't know.
We're gonna have to come up with like the chance that they do, so that way there's no hard feelings.
Right. But I want to know what you guys think. I want to know if you guys believe in the Bermuda Triangle, or know more than I do. I'm sure you do. And also, like, just your opinions on this episode and how the channel is doing. Please give me some feedback. I love it. I love all your comments and things. People are starting to watch the old episodes, which
is awesome.
Which is really cool. I'm getting a lot of, like, stuff from way back in the day, and I'll look at a comment and I'm like, I don't even remember doing that video.
Well, it's cool though too, because you can kind of see how far you've come, because like she has gotten really good at editing and really good at the format of these things, and they don't happen with one episode. It builds over time, and it just gets, more polished as we go. So I mean, even you go back far enough, I don't co-host it with her. She had a different co-host. So you find pieces of that too.
Right. So, thank you guys for joining us on our crazy little spooky, mysterious journey. And we'll be back probably with true crime next time.
Maybe.
We'll see you later.
Peace.
Hi guys, I just wanted to say I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like any of the content for Code 187, please click that subscribe button, that like button, that share button. Help us out, help us grow. You can find us on your favorite podcast platforms. Check us out on there. Give us some ratings. Tell us what you think. We're also across every social media on Code 187. So we're on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I think that's it. And of course, YouTube. So please subscribe if you like our content, and spread the word. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.